Alright, so today we're going to talk about the distributive property. And this will go in your next set of notes, and it should go right behind translating verbal expressions into algebraic expressions. So make sure that when you're doing this, you don't forget to put the date that you're completing it and the page number. Remember, that's different for everybody. And you're going to make sure that you put that in your table of contents. Make sure that you take the time to fill out your learning target in your notes as well. Okay, so distributive property is a lot like order of operations. The first thing you have to do is you have to distribute or multiply this number to everything inside that parenthesis. It can also be outside this way and being multiplied backwards. So just understand that we're using multiplication and it can go either way. Alright, so example 1. So order of operations tells us that we have to do parentheses first, but I can't do anything in here because those aren't like terms. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply, or I would look for exponents and I don't have any. Next thing I would do is multiply or divide, and this is multiplication because I would be doing 4 times x, which is 4x, and 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20. This 2 plus 2 in the end, nothing happened to it, so I'm just going to make sure that I bring it down. Make sure you don't lose it in your steps. So I did parentheses, I didn't have any exponents, I didn't have any, I did multiplication. There is no division. Last step would be to add, or like what we did last week, you would call this combine like terms. These two are your like terms, so I would combine those, I would get negative 18, and then this 4x, nothing combines to it, so I just bring it down. So my final answer is 4x minus 18. Now example 2, again, parentheses, there's nothing I can do here. Those aren't like terms. I don't have any exponents, so I'm going to multiply, which would be distribute. But what's being distributed here is this negative 2. It's technically plus negative 2 or minus 2, however you want to think about it, but this negative is being distributed. So that's why I always circle when I'm distributing, so I make sure to get the sign in front of it. So, nothing's going to happen to this 8. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down so I don't lose it. And I'm going to distribute negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4 is a positive 8. Next step is to combine like terms, or add and subtract. So now I'm going to look at that, and negative 2x doesn't have a like term, so I'm just going to stick it out front. But 8 and negative 8 are like, 8 and positive 8 are like terms, so I'm going to add them together and get 16. Alright, example 3. You've got a couple of things happening here, a couple of different times I'm going to distribute. So again, can't combine like terms, or can't do anything inside the parentheses like combine like terms because they're different. I don't have any exponents, so my next step is multiplication or division, and distributing is multiplication. So I'm going to distribute. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times negative 3x. 2 times negative 3x would be a negative 6x. There's also more multiplication right here. This negative 2. It's being multiplied to 5, which gives me negative 10, and to 2x, which gives me negative 4x. Now, instead of the negatives, if you wanted to make those, instead of the minus signs, if you wanted to make those plus negative, you could do that as well. So I did parentheses, exponents, multiplication. I don't have any division, so next step is adding and subtracting. So I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 6x and negative 4x gets more negative, and it gives me negative 10x. 16 minus 10 gives me a positive 6. So my final answer is negative 10x plus 6. Alright, last example. Order of operations tells me to do my parentheses first. Well, in this case, brackets count as parentheses because they're a grouping symbol. So I'm starting inside my brackets. And then it starts over again. So that means this 2 on the outside, nothing's going to happen until the very end. So let's look at what I've got going on in here. In here, I've got 2 different sets of parentheses. So if I'm looking at parentheses again, can't do anything here, those are not like terms. Can't do anything here, those aren't like terms. I don't have any exponents, so my next step is multiplication. Nothing is being multiplied to anything inside this. There's no multiplication here. There's nothing in front of the parentheses. Therefore, I can take it out. That is not the case for this set. This set has a -2 in front, or a -2, which means I'm going to distribute that -2 to 3x and get a -6x. And then the -2 to -4y and get a +8y. Remember, I'm still working inside these brackets, so I still am not doing anything with the 2 yet. That comes last. So inside my brackets, now I need to look for, I did multiplication, I don't have any division, so now I'm adding and subtracting, which again means just combine like terms. So I've got a 3x, and its like term is a -6x. So 3x minus 6x is a -3x. And I like to cross these terms out when I'm finished so I can keep them organized. Then I have a +4y and a +8y. +4 plus 8 gives me +12y. And there's nothing left up here. So I am completely finished in my first set of parentheses or brackets, my first grouping symbols. So now I'm going to move on to look and see if I have any exponents, and I do not. But I do have multiplication. Again, I'm going to have to distribute now with this 2 because I can't do anything else left in here. So 2 times -3x is a -6x, and 2 times 12y is a 24y. Can't do anything else, can't combine any more like terms, so I am finished.